Hey guys, Sheep here, and welcome to what's probably going to be the last video on this Touka deck. This is going to be our deck test plus gameplay. So let's get right to the tech. This is our Touka double attack Ken combo deck using Toukas and Kens and the 2 AP Touka. The deck's pretty simple to build. Using starter decks, we go straight to 4 Kens. Let me bring these a little bit lower. 4 Kens, 4 Toukas. These are raid targets. Gotta play 8 of them. Honestly, I wish I could play more Kens, because there are definitely games where I feel like I just do not have enough Kens. So there's our raid targets for our zeros. We will fill out our zeros with 3 Hanami. You could play 4 if you wanted to, but I wanted to be able to play another playset of Kens, or another 2 Kens and 2 Toukas, so that we went to 10 raid targets for each. So I opted to play 3 Hanami instead of 4. But it is a draw discard, so it's pretty good. Following that, we have our 1-drops. We have our 1-drop colors. Honestly, this card is great for aggro because it can tap a Ken to become a 4K. Besides that, it's just a 1-drop and a color trigger, so you kind of just have to play it. It's also a raid target because it's Touka. Our other 1-drop is Ken. His activate main is look at the top card. Put this over here. Look at the top card, you can put it into your sideline. My autofocus is not working right now for some reason. I'm playing 2 of the winter ones, they look nice. The only downside of this card really is the lack of a trigger. This deck has 8 non-triggers, which I wish was a smaller number, but what can you do about it when you have to be playing things like this? We are playing 4 2-drop Kens. This has Nullify Impact and Gaze 1,000 during your turn if you have a Rize under it. Just a solid raid target. It's a 3k baseline that becomes a 4k if you have Rize in sideline, pretty much. Not really much to talk about. We are playing the playset of Rize. You could bring this down to 3. I just couldn't bring myself to do it because every game I don't see one of these, it just feels so much harder to win. What she says is when she's in your sideline, you can put her under a Ken you control. And then Kens you control usually have effects that require you to have a face down card, and this is the only way to get a face down card under a Ken you control at the moment. This is the only card preventing this deck from being budget. This card is currently $27, and you should be playing 4 of them. If you can tell from me flipping these face down, I am not playing 4 of them, and to be honest, Nishiki is your next best bet if you can't get 4 Udas. So Uda is an insane card, which is look at the top 4, add 1 to your hand, put 1 into your sideline, up to 1 into your sideline, and then discard a card. The card you can grab with Uda or any raid target or any 2 action point card, which is just absolutely wild that it's a target for any raid or any 2 action point. To finish out our 3s, we have our 2 other raid target Toukas. These are also an insanely good aggro option because they come into play active if you set a Ken. So you can set something like your 2-drop Ken, play your Touka, set your Ken, activate a Rize from sideline face down under it, play it face up. And it's a card that your opponents really don't want to target with effects, because it's a 4k on their turn, or on your turn, and a 35 on their turn, so it rarely eats any removal. Then we get to the fun stuff, which is the raids. We are playing 4 Touka. This has double attack if you rest a Ken, and on play draw a card or restand a 3 or less. So you can always do stuff like play Touka, raid a Touka, and then restand this Touka. Usually you use that restand on a Ken, usually this 1-drop one. So you'll restand your Ken, raid a Touka, restand your Touka, or restand your Ken, rest your Ken to Touka effect, and then you get double attack. Then you can do things with follow up like raid a Ken to draw 2, discard 1. Most of the time I do tend to use the draw effect. This deck has a lot of just incidental draw built in, as you'll see with our next raid target, or our next raid. We're following up with 4 Ken. This is a draw 2, discard 1, nullify impact. Just your deck having 8 built-in nullify impacts with this Ken and this one is really strong, like kind of insanely strong. So many times my opponent is like looking to end the game and they just can't get through my wall of nullifies. Kind of similar to Shadow Monarch and having tanks out. His other effect is if you have a card under him, he will flip himself. He will restand himself once per turn. That is only activatable on the front line, but let's be realistic, that line does not matter. So you'll usually like the best play you could do is have a Ken on your front line, raid a Touka, set this Ken, raid a Ken, draw 2. You draw one off this Touka, restand, play a Touka, rest this Ken, put a Rize under this Ken. Rize, where are you at? Choose to restand, and then you're swinging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times that turn with 3 cards. So if you had anything else in the front line, you're already an additional attack. This is like Magical Christmas Land, and most of the time you're just going to have a Ken, a Touka, and some other random ass card. So I guess we'll talk about our 4-drop 2 action point Touka. We are playing 3 somewhere. Somewhere there's a third one. There it is. Anyway, 3 of our 2 action point Touka. She comes into play active. You rest a Ken. She gets double attack. The second attack has impact. She's very, very solid. But we only play 3 because I tended to brick on her a lot when we were playing 4. There's an argument to dropping this down to 2, but I don't know what you'd add besides like another double energy, which I have been considering. Then we round out our deck with our specials and our finals. There's no reason not for this deck to be running 4/4. To be honest, this deck feels so much different when you draw your restands than when you don't. And then, I'm going to be honest, I do not like specials in this deck. It feels bad when you have them in your hand. Most of the time you're just like praying, hit them out of life. You're so aggro and need all your action points that just having a special is kind of But like, there's no way you can just not play them when you really have no way of getting over 5Ks besides them. Oh, well, I guess Hanami can buff something to be a 5K. So that's our deck. When I bought this, everything was pretty cheap. It's 2 structure decks, which 15 apiece. Like, obviously that's a little pricey. The Toukas were 6s, so that's another 24. If you don't go for Udo, who's 27, nothing else is really worth anything. Besides, I think the Hanamis are $1 or $2. I have to check, but you could just play any other 0-drop and still have a playable deck. It's just nice to have a draw discard. So it's a pretty budget list outside the Uda. And it's a very easy deck to upgrade over time from the starter decks as well. If you see my other videos, you've seen the starter deck lists. I think they're honestly pretty good. After all that, we're going to go straight into our round 2 of our locals that we did win. We played game 1 into someone tried to build a house with all the bricks in their hand. Our game 2 was against Red Chihiro. And our game 3 was against Blue Kenshin. Unfortunately, my recording of the Blue Kenshin one is kind of subpar. There's just tons of glare on all my cards, and you can't read them, and it just was not worth doing. So let's get right to the Red Chihiro match, and I will see you at the end. My opponent is on Red Chihiro this game. They're going to start with their 0-drop Togo. Then I'm going to follow it up with a 0-drop Touka and a 1-drop Ken, pass the turn. They push their Togo up, looking for some extra damage. 0-drop Chihiro, draw a discard. And then a Char. Togo hits life for a raid Ken, add to hand. We play a 0-drop Ken. Togo to the front line to absorb some damage from this Togo. Opponent action point draws. They play a 1-drop Chihiro, forget the activate effect. They restand, they play a Char, and followed up with a 3-drop Chihiro to the front line. We untap our third AP. We're looking for some aggro here. But first we start with an Uda. Look at the top four. One to the sideline, one to hand, discard a card. We sideline the Rees, add the Ken to our hand, and discard the Hanami. We're going to raid the Ken. Draw 2, discard 1, discard another Rees. Play a Coffee, restand, play our Touka. Set the Ken with Touka so it has double attack. Activate the Rees, restand our Ken. Touka swings in. First attack hits a final. Second attack hits a color trigger. Red color trigger is great as always. Ken swings in. Ken hits a no trigger. Touka swings in. Touka gets shunt blocked by Togo. Our opponent moves Char up. They followed up with a Hakuri raid. Not just kidding, it's a 0. Then they raid Chihiro. And now the Hakuri raid comes out, pushing our Ken to the back line. Chihiro swings in, pop our Touka, and our front line is looking like garbage now. They hit our life, we flip a color trigger to save us a bunch of damage. We do cheat a little bit here. We grab the Hanami and try to give our Touka 1,000 attack. You can't actually do that. It doesn't make any difference in this scenario because we can block the Char with Touka and the Hanami with, or the Hikuri with Hanami, and it makes no difference to our life total. We take the last attack. It is a booster, as always. We untap, push our Ken forward, opt to push the second Ken forward. As soon as we figure it out. Yeah, there we go. Look at the top of Ken, sideline our special. Play a Touka to the back line. Raid a Ken, draw 2, discard 1. This deck just has so much incidental card draw. Third AP, we raid a Touka. We forget to draw off this Touka. Activate the Touka, set the Ken, restand the Ken. Touka attacks first. Swing to the life, hit a Char, get trigger. Swing again. This one hits a no trigger. Ken swings in. Ken eats the Char. Ken swings in. Puts our opponent down to 1. They get a draw trigger. Touka. Touka will eat the Hikari raid here. Yep, there we go. And pass the turn over to our opponent. Feeling really good here. We're at 4 life with 4 cards on board, and opponent's at 1 with 2. But these games do swing really fast. They opt to AP draw, which is a great sign for us. They play a 3-drop Chihiro. They drew their 3rd restand for this game. They special our Touka. And they raid yet another Chihiro. Chihiro pops our Ken. Swings in, hits our life. We'll hit yet another color trigger. We use our Hanami properly this time. We will draw and discard. We read it halfway through the game, as usual. We'll take another hit to our life. We will activate a Hanami draw trigger. Our opponent passes. And then we do play sloppy this turn, trying to end the game out. You'll see what happens. First, we're going to play the Touka. Raid a Touka. Draw a card. We drew a 3-drop 2 energy, which we're supposed to play first here. But we restand. Raid without the required energy, which we could have had by just playing this Nishiki we had in hand anyway. We restand our Touka, swing in, it's a raid, and game over. And that was it for our gameplay this time. In future, I'm going to try to grab 2 to 3 matches. Unfortunately, it just did not work out this time. Here is our deck list in Experts. It's called Sad Girl Problems because we're focused mainly on Touka. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. If you want to see any of my other deck lists, you can head over to Experts under Cardboard Sheet. And I will see you next time. Peace.